All right, as you guys can see here, brand new splash screen with some liquid glass animation as soon as you load iOS 26 Beta 4, which as we know should be the first public beta as well, dropping as soon as tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in a second, but there's a lot to talk about with this latest beta. Came a day later than expected, but here we are. Let's take a quick look at this to see exactly how Apple ended up tweaking it. So, first things first, what I want to say is this download size was massive. For a fourth beta, it came in at over 10 gigabytes, which is pretty crazy. And as you can see now, right when you load up the new beta, you get a new splash screen for summarized notifications. So you can choose to summarize which notifications or not now. We'll say choose. We will let everything be selected again. And as you can see, there is a little warning here that says summarization may change the meaning of the original headlines. Verify information right there. Summarize all notifications, and we should be good to go. I can tell you, here's another little welcome screen, get started. I can tell you the phone didn't actually get as hot as it has in the past. So let's go ahead and do our quick temp check just to see. So it's definitely warm, but it doesn't look like we're hitting 110 degrees this time as we have been seeing. Regardless, it's still warm to the touch, but not crazy. Oh, there is a 110. So yeah, keep in mind, the phone is still indexing. You're not surprised by this, but still it would be nice to see if they tweak it a little bit. You can see some of the widgets are still loading for stocks right here. But let's go ahead and jump right into this by going into settings, general, and about. And we can see Beta 4 has a build number of 23A5297I. What's interesting here is Beta 3 had a G build, and this is going the wrong way in the alphabet if you're thinking about having a public release. Usually you want something closer to the beginning of the alphabet. If you're unfamiliar with how Apple betas work, the closer to a B build we get, the more ready Apple feels internally this is for a public release. So interesting, it's going the wrong way in the alphabet. However, like we said, this will be what the first public beta is built off of. As we are 4 betas in, we're not anticipating many new features here. There will still be a lot of tweaks to liquid glass and things like that and how apps operate and just more performance-based improvements. So don't expect any new features. Apple did it a little different this year where most of the features discussed at WWDC were already in the first beta. So having said that, we know we did get a modem update in 18.6 that dropped and 26 beta 1, and now looking at this, we have a firmware of 2.04.00. So in case you were wondering about that, there is a new beta modem build here, and really what we're hoping to see is a lot of issues from beta 3, 2, and 1 resolved. The phone did overheat quite a bit, which is really frustrating. I can tell right off the bat already it's feeling cooler than it did last time we updated the software. We had lots of stuttering and dropped frame rates. So as this phone finishes indexing, hopefully that will all be improved. Beyond that though as well, let's go ahead and talk about battery and see how everything looks here. We still have adaptive power, nothing new there. But also one thing we did run into was battery intelligence, or the smart charging, whatever you want to say, not showing at all times. So let me go ahead and grab our charging cable and plug it in and lock the phone really quick. And let's see if that is back or not. So you can see it's not showing it just yet. Let me go ahead and lock it just to make sure. Unlock it. Yeah, so over 80%, it's not showing a charge to full. We have had scenarios where it would actually show occasionally to 80%, but that was not consistent, and it looks like that may or may not be solved here just yet. So jumping back into the phone, one other thing I do want to talk about is the actual iPhone storage. This has been a point of contention, just how much storage the user system took up and all of that. So let's take a quick look. And you can see right now iOS is using 19.77 gigs. Apple Intelligence is using 6.21. The iOS itself is using 13.56 for a total size of 19.77 gigs. A little bit better, but still pretty high. And even higher is the system data, as you can see here, using 34.23 gigs. It's pretty substantial. Again, this changes, it's always in flux, so keep that in mind. Aside from that, also, battery has been better in beta 3. Hopefully we will still see that improving in beta 4 here. And like I jumped into earlier, if you actually take a look, let's go ahead and look at our battery health right now. All right, we're still sitting at 95%. Luckily, we haven't lost too much more at 328 cycle counts. And then jumping into battery usage, you can see just how significant we have to recharge a lot of the days here just to make sure we don't run out of juice, even in beta 3. So hopefully, again, this will be fixed in beta 4. Let's go ahead and see the blur that obviously everyone's talking about. It looks very comparable here. Again, still more frosted glass than liquid now, but I don't see too much of a change here from beta 3. It still looks very comparable. Obviously, you still have those smooth glass animations here, which is good, but then who knows exactly how this will finally be tweaked by the time this is public in September. Not public beta, but a public release to the general public. Let's go ahead and actually launch some apps and see if we have any new splash screens. And all right, there we go. Right off the bat, we do. Right when you launch the camera app, it says new camera design. A streamlined design elevates photo and video modes. Simply swipe left or right to access additional modes. Tap the control button on the top to access settings. You can set up your photographic styles. We'll set it up later, and we are back. So as you can see, we have those new Oakley Meta collaborations here. Looks good. Still have the same swipe gesture that we're talking about. Nothing too crazy there. Let's jump into the Stocks app and do our typical run through here. Top stories. Yeah, it definitely feels more fluid right off the bat. Looks like you have some new little pop-ups or earnings expected soon. I think I've seen that in a prior build though also. Yeah, okay. This is definitely working a lot smoother than what we saw in beta 3. Let's just launch a game really quick and see how that works. And then we'll check the release notes and see if that was updated. So yeah, everything seems to have loaded pretty quickly here. Nice. And let's check the developer website. Okay, yep, so it's updated here. Looks like we got a new Xcode build as well. But let's find iOS release notes. Okay, it looks like we actually have a long list of new features. Recovery Assistant is a new way to recover your device if it doesn't start up normally. It can look for problems and attempt to solve them if found. Resolved issues. Looks like there's a ton. New features for ad attribution kits. Known issues for alternate app distribution, App Store, appointments. Apple Intelligence, new feature, the foundation model framework provides you with direct access to the on-device large language model at the core of Apple Intelligence. Resolved issues, there's a known issue with Apple Music right here. Auto mix transitions may be less complex or not available in spatial audio. And yeah, you can see there are tens or 20, it looks like quite a bit. There might be hundreds of features here that have been known issues or resolved issues with workarounds. So quite a bit here has finally been listed out. Thank you, Apple, for that. If you are part of this program, make sure to submit anything that you have in the feedback app to make sure Apple is aware of these and work to improve them. So last thing I want to talk about, obviously this did come a day late on a Tuesday instead of a Monday or Wednesday. The reason for this is Apple dropped iOS 18.6 beta 4, or RC I should say, yesterday. We now have beta 4 of iOS 26 today, and tomorrow we are anticipating the first public release of beta 1 for iOS 26 on the 23rd. We can obviously also expect now to go on a weekly release cycle and possibly as soon as the 28th receive beta 5. We still have all of August to go for these betas, with an RC probably coming the week of the 8th when Apple is rumored to hold their next event for the new iPhones, Apple Watches, and all of that. So don't have to wait too long. Hopefully this build shows that it is worth it and worth the wait, and battery life and performance will stay steady or improve a little bit more than what it has been recently. But that's it for this one. Let me know down below, how are you feeling about these changes to Liquid Glass and iOS 26 as a whole? I'm kind of digging it. I feel a little better about it now than I did at the very beginning of these beta cycles, but I'm one person. Let me know down below your thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.